The Age of Annihilation Master Set follows in the footsteps of its predecessors, offering players 20 new pre-painted figures for Heroscape, 74 terrain tiles, 11 magical glyphs, customizable wall terrain, and 9 brand new scenarios to create hours of nail-biting gameplay. The Master Set supports 2 players and scales up to 4 players with the addition of a battle box. So I find that's really interesting. It's yes, it's a Master Set. We're talking about the because that's a thing we've gone over really strongly, especially back in the day when and Carmine mentioned that we consider a Master Set to have a particular language, and he's like that's why he avoided calling it a Master Set in the first place, and he called his a Vanguard Edition because he was like, it's not really a Master Set because it's a lot more than that. But this now, from what I understand, I'm trying to think based off what I remember, Battle for the Underdark was the last official Master Set in print,
right?
And it only had 10 figures. So I do have to give them. I'll give them the plus that they're adding more figures than their predecessors.
Pre-painted too.
Pre-painted too, which now we've had the discussion, we've had the chance to talk about in the past, right? There happens to have grown a large crowd of individuals who now want to be able to paint their own figures, and I respect it. But I remember, and I cannot forget, how many people said no to Age of Annihilation Vanguard Edition because it was not painted. So
it was quote unquote Paintgate.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's too soon to say that.
I remember the whole conflict about that. So I guarantee you the reason why they decided to make this pre-painted is because of how strongly worded people were about the unpainted stuff. So, I mean, you got to pick one side or the other, I guess, at this point. I don't know. But for the bet, let's be honest. I have seen the articles on the forums. I know you individuals out there are very creative and will find a way to adjust the colors of any of the pieces. I don't say that in like a demeaning or negative way. Like, I am actually impressed with a lot of the work I see on the forums.
Oh yeah.
I know for a fact, like, if these colors don't come out right, you'll fix it. Yeah,
that's what I'm like. You just prime them up and then paint them the way you want to. Boom.
And it's just like, I mean, the paint jobs are incredible out there. Like, some of the work that I've seen on some of these the classic characters, right? The touch-ups I've seen on some of the classic characters, phenomenal work. So I generally, from what I've experienced in the community, I'm not worried about them coming pre-painted, because even if, like I said, even if the colors are not to par, somebody will be able to create. Yeah, paint will find, like Roguescaper's saying, paint will find a way. It's and I promise you, it's always out of complete respect, because I every time I see your work, it's like there's some community members that are super creative out there. So yeah, just pre-painted options, that's what they've landed with, and I think it's a good way to kind of introduce, like, if we're trying to bring back Heroscape as it was, like as it's something that people can recognize as Heroscape, pre-painted is a good option because that's how it was back in the day. And a lot of people, even the same way, right? They would ask me, is it coming painted or not? And when I said unpainted, they're like, eh. So this is probably easier for the, how do I say, like the starting foundation of it, trying to get new players into it, less work for them to do to get into the game.
Right. So. And what it reminds me of too is the fact that, I mean, the first the master sets in the original Heroscape, you can open up and play right away. And I think this has the same presence to where you have 2 packs, one master and one smaller set, to where you can open them up and play right. That's what it appears to me, at least.
Exactly. I can see that.
Yep.
And I also want to mention, as far as the glyphs go, I'm probably going to put the assumption out there. It's the glyphs we've seen already.
Oh, you think?
The ones that were mentioned in the rule kit. Unless they make their own, which would be interesting. I mean, it could be either way. The option is always there, because we know that a lot of the stuff is going to be updated to a different design standard. I mean, they're already releasing the pieces in a different way, so they probably have to like narrate it differently, if that makes sense, present it in a different way. So it's like, if they do change the names of the glyphs, it's probably possible. But I'm of the theory they're going to just keep the same ones, because one thing that's kind of queuing into that is, as you can see, the master set's also coming with the walls, which is awesome. We don't have, I know the master sets in the past used to introduce various terrain modifications, right? So like, Swarm of Tomorrow was the swamp and the hive, and then we had Battle for the Underdark with the shadow and dungeon tiles, introducing those walls, which were already in itself was a very cool design. Like introducing that as a master set, as a starter kit, is a really good way to get people starting to play early, because it's like, look what you can do. You buy the master set and you get a castle, and you can use that for more than just Heroscape. That's a really good way to start getting people into it, because I'm excited for the castles.
For sure.
Those walls were nice.